When did you make this decision to walk out and deny a quorum?
Well, these discussions began, throughout the day. Even, a couple days before we knew this bill was going to get to the floor, it was unclear when it would actually get to the floor. But Republicans chose to put it on the 139th day of the 140th, and so it was on the deadline. And so again, it was trying to be shoved through or shoved down our throats again. And so ultimately, we came together, and we all decided to walk out.
And what can you do if there is a special session that the governor calls? What tools will you have in your toolbox for that?
Well, I mean, that's always the governor's decision, of course. How soon, he will call us in for a special. It will be his decision ultimately. Our hope is that we can have a serious conversation about it. A second go around. But again, the tools that we have in our toolbox, are procedural maneuvers such as point of orders, trying to kill it, on one of those. Another option is trying to run out the clock. Meaning like yesterday we could have run out the clock on the bill, and once it's past midnight, the bill dies. Ultimately, we hope that it doesn't resort to having to break quorum again, and that we can have a serious conversation so we can pass real elections reform that is common sense and that'll make it easier for people to vote.
I want to focus on the provisions in the bill that take effect after people have voted. Clearly, there's a collection of restrictive measures in there that are clearly designed to prevent Democrats from voting, make it more difficult for Democrats to vote. But after the vote, this bill now says that there's a much lower standard of proof for any case brought about any kind of election fraud.
Yes, I mean, they added some provisions in the final version of it that would expand the venue for these types of cases to be litigated, right? And so our court system is already clogged up, especially after the pandemic. Our civil courts are backed up on jury trials, and it gives a provision. There's a provision in there that expedites these types of cases, and so that's a very slippery slope, for us to take because within the bill itself, there are certain things that people can accidentally, if you accidentally fill something out or don't mark something correctly, that could potentially open it up for an investigation. And so it seems like there is a due process issue there, as arrest you first and then investigate later. And so there is a potential for many people to be caught, and possibly be criminalized for innocent behavior.
There's also a provision apparently that says you can overturn an election in court without proving that the number of votes that are being contested would actually even affect the outcome of the election.
Yes. And so, so this sweeping bill, right, again, it was shoved down our throat with limited discussion and input from Democrats from the get-go. Despite 22 hours of testimony from the public, at the 11th hour, they stripped out agreed upon amendments and added new provisions like this one. And this was a provision that was in neither version, neither the Senate version or the House version. And so this is completely new language that, was, I believe, was given to the conferees that night, like at midnight. And so we did not have an opportunity to even have a public hearing on it in committee. And so it's really going around the process, but that really shows the intent. By them adding that provision, it basically allows you to overturn an election without even having to prove evidence of fraud. And so again, that shows their clear intent behind what they're trying to accomplish. And it's all based around the big lie.